from my dreams. Uncle JP, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. Happy Sunday. I always got these issues trying to find my pen. Shayla, great rising, great rising. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. Hold on, let me go check over here for my pen. I'm sorry. Audrey, shalom. Got one. Lavon, blessings, blessings. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Okay, y'all. Happy Sunday. It is April the 3rd, 2022, day 72 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1090. 1090. Zoe Betwabu, Betwabu. Today, y'all, we starting in tablet W, the book of Marduk by Nabu. Then we are going, what I do with it? Okay. Make sure I'm charged. I know I'm charged. Yep. 90%. It should be 100. Okay, hold on. Then we're going to read Kindle. What? Oh. Hold on, let me download this. Why is this not in here? We're gonna start reading this little what ancient wisdom would have its children to know. Hold on. Kindle. Why is it deleted? I don't know why it's deleted. My kids. All right, but anywho, Belinda, Grand Rising, Auntie Grand Rising, tell her, hey girl, hey. Okay, let's open it up. I put in my password and stuff. Hold on, y'all. Just pull it up. Yes. Touch. Signing. There we go. Okay. Library. Got it. No, not that one. Spiritual centers. 72 names of God. That's not a library. Download it. What? Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Hold on. What's my book? Let's go back. Let's go to download it. Okay. So let me do this real quick. Hold on. Let me make sure. Let me make sure it's not something I'm doing. Bring it up online and go to my Amazon account real quick. Hold on. Get the book. It should be there. Let's see. Okay. What the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. Yeah, why is this not showing up? Right. Yeah, I know. View this order. I know it's in my library. Why it's not showing up? Hold on, y'all. Okay, let's open it up. No, why it's not showing. Read now. Yes, I want to read it. Maybe I just need to read it from here. Okay. This is weird though. See all. Let me check one more time. Make sure I'm not overlooking it. My library. Maybe if I just type it in. What the ancient oh, why was that so hard? That's crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I got it up. It's weird. I had to type it in for it to come up, but it's in my library, but it's not showing on my Kindle on my phone. I mean, not on my phone. On the iPad. Let's go all the way. This is weird. That's never happened. Okay, let's just back to the beginning instead of doing all this swiping. Cover. Sheesh. Okay. You listened to it 3 times? Okay, Audrey. Okay, y'all, let's get started. Father, we thank you for another day. It is Sunday. We're about to get rocking and rolling. All right. Tablet W. Book of Marduk by Nabu. All right, y'all. So this is not that long. So we'll finish this, then we'll get started with what the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. Okay. We have sealed 7 representative stations in Babylon. While it is true that each of the cities did emphasize their local patrons, a god and a goddess, we have sought a unity for all the gods under the watchful eye of my father, Marduk, son of Enki. Our father, Enki, took Marduk as an apprentice to the magical and religious arts, while in Eridu and I later took hold of such mysteries and dispersed the knowledge to my scribes and priests in Babylon and Egypt, where my family was recognized by other names. The 7 are each embodiments of one of the 7 gates forged in Babylon, homes to the gods of the younger pantheon. It is true, the same sevenfold division may be found to fragment the world of form corresponding to color, sound, or the planets observed by the ancient ancestors from the earth, seen as guardians. The 7 planetary systems, which have been connected to the 7 of the gates, also correlate to an easily observable weekly cycle of time. The planet ruling days will offer the supplicant, and in brackets, the supplicant is the priest, an intention, ceremonial, or meditative opportunity to appeal to each of the sets of Annunaki divine couples honored in the younger pantheon of Babylon. And then it gives Sunday through Saturday, and it gives the couples. So Sunday, it has Sunday, Sun, and that's the Sun, SUN. So it has Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. Each day is represented by one of those planets or luminaries, and then it has the couple that also represents that same day or that particular luminary. So Sunday, you have the sun, and you have Shamash, who is also Utu and Ea. Then you have Monday, the moon, and that's Nana, who is also known as Sin, Sin, and Ningal. Tuesday is Mars, Nergal, and Ereshkigal. Wednesday, Mercury, Nabu, and Teshmet. Thursday, Jupiter, Marduk, and Sarpanit. Friday, Venus, Ishtar, who is also known as Inanna, and Dumuzi. Saturday, Saturn, Ninib, who is also known as Ninurta, and his significant other, Bao, or B-A apostrophe U. I may have pronounced that wrong. Nikki, shalom, shalom, Jen, good morning. Within the combined domains of the seven are all of the material and spiritual aspects of priests, or, I'm sorry, within the combined domains of the seven are all of the material and spiritual aspects a priest or magician seeks in life, e.g., Ishtar for love or Samaz for truth, and one merely must appeal with self honesty and true words to attain them. This is the original arts. This is as the original arts were set down in days of old, left for men to remember us, and we will remember you. The names and gates are not merely there for the bedazzlement of the occult initiate, as you have been taught, there to ascend to and forget about. They are very real magical skills and spiritual lessons based on the division and fragmentation of the material universe, a mastery only attainable by a true and faithful relationship with the Annunaki gods of your ancestors. Man's use of the spiritual powers of the gods became subverted, altered, and bastardized into the magical system, into the mystical systems now given for your disposal, written by men with no better understanding of the traditions they seek to evoke than those who read them. And some of these traditions have even falsely said to be derived from my hand. The true priest or magician compels the gods by friendship and trust, not fear and hatred. By Marduk, I learned the power of incantation. I was taught to appease the gods in his name, to speak the words of the higher. Marduk invoked the name of Enki, our father, who invoked the name of Anu, and so was born the magical hierarchies that magicians have confused. I taught the magician scribes of my order to invoke my name and seal doing their petitions to the gods, which I have given here as I have learned it from Marduk. And then it goes on. All of this is italicized, and this is what he learned from Marduk. Anu, I'll just say quote, Anu above me, king in heaven, Enlil, commander of the airs, Enki, lord of the deep earth. I am Nabu, hear my words. I am the priest of Marduk and Sarpanit, son of our father Enki and Damkina. I am the priest in Eridu. I am the magician in Babylon. My spell is the spell of Enki. My incantation is the incantation of Marduk. The tablets of destiny I hold in my hands. The Ankh of Anu and Antu I hold in my hands. The wisdom of Enlil and Ninlil I call to me. The magic circle of Enki and Damkina I conjure about me. Shamash and Ea are before me. Nanasin and Ningal are behind me. Nergal and Oreshkogal are at my right side. Ninib, Ninurta, and Bau are at my left side. The blessed light of Ishtar and Dumuzi shines favorably upon my sacred work. It is not I, but Marduk who performs the incantations. End quote. As should become increasingly apparent to contemporary folk of the current age, the Anunnaki are powerful and influential, though often directly unseen, forces behind the reality of the life you exist in, as your ancestors were all well aware of. If you work with us in conjunction with the natural flow of the universal energies, then you will come face to face with your true destiny and invited home again. Discern your true knowledge, learn the challenge of self mastery, and then, dear seeker, resolve to walk with the gods among the stars, circumnavigating the illusions of this world, which have been raised before you as a test of your existence. When you have proven yourself before us, we shall celebrate your arrival. Then it has 3 ellipses and reference number 111. And that says the tablet W series is derived from the Mardukite Chamberlain's 2010 release, The Book of Marduk by Nabu, edited and translated by Joshua Free, Also available in Acadian Plus. And that's the end of that section. So now it's actually going to go into, remember how we broke down the days of the week, what the constellation was, or the luminary was, and the couple. So now it's going through all of those, starting at Monday and ending at Sunday, and that'll actually be the end of this tablet W, and then we'll hop on over to the other book. Okay, so Monday, the moon, Nana, and Ningal. Ilu, Nana, Ilu, Sin, Ilu, Istari, Ningal, Nana, Sin, Ningal, Ilu, Nanar, Ilu, Nam, Rasit, Nanar, Moon. And then for each line, it has uh, the language, then it's translated. So all through this, I'm gonna do the same thing like I did before. I'm gonna just read the translated English portion, but if you want to go back and actually read the other language, you can. Okay. Mighty one among the gods, son of Enlil and Ninlil, brightest in the heavens at night, keeping watch, protecting weary travelers and the people in their homes as they sleep. Your brightness extends through the heavens like a torch, like a fire god, Samas. Radiance of Nana, who reflects the dreams of men. To you was born the sun, and sun, S-U-N, has reference from 12, and it says literally Father of the Son. Be favorable to me. I, then you state your name, son of, state the name of whose son you are, whose God is, name your God, and whose goddess is, name your goddess, right? May Nana and Ningo deal graciously with me. Cleanse me of iniquity that I may be free to call upon thee. Open the gates of your mysteries to me. Stand on either side of me, a servant of the highest. May the Annunaki come forth and be established. And that was the end of Monday. So now it starts at Tuesday. Tuesday, Mars, Nergal, and Ereshkigal. Nergal, Irigal, Ereshkigal, Era, Mars. Exalted Lord of the underworld, Ereshkigal, Queen of the underworld. Great is your place among the gods of heaven, Nergal and Ereshkigal. Truly have mercy on me. Then you name your name, son of, and you name who you the son of. Whose God is, name your God. Whose goddess is, then you name your goddess. May your hearts be tempered. Temper also the anger within my heart, that I may stand before you. Open the gates of your understanding to me. Grant me a favorable death and keep evil from me in life. I, a servant of the highest, kneel down before thee. Take pity on me. May the great doors stand open. May the Anunnaki return and be established. Then you have Wednesday, Mercury, Nabu, and Teshmet. Nabu, Tutu, Teshmet, Tasmit, U, Nebos, Mercurios. Scribe among the gods, keeper of the wisdom of the gods, firstborn of Marduk and Sarpanic. Nabu, bearer of the tablet of destinies of the gods. May my dreams, destiny be filled with prosperity. May my petitions fall on the ears of Nabu and Tazmet. Be favorable to me, I, son of, whose God is, whose goddess is. Cleanse me of false knowledge that I might be fit to call upon thee. Open the gates of your understanding to me. Bless my mouth with true words to speak the prayers. May the prayers rise from the lips of the people. I am a servant of the highest. May the Anunnaki come forth and be established. Then you have Thursday, Jupiter, Marduk, and Sarpanic. Marduk, Merodach, Sarpanic, Mulu, Kai, Jupiter. Lord of the lands, master of magicians, God of Babylon, Sarpanic, Lady of Babylon, mighty and powerful on earth and heaven are your words, Lord and Lady of Babylon. Accept my offerings of alabaster, lapis lazuli, and gold. Judge my life favorably. I, son of, whose God is, and whose goddess is, make me fit to behold your divinity and teach me to receive thy blessings. Open the gates of your understanding. Open the gates of your power. Let me live. Let me be perfect. Command greatness in my life as your expansion permeates the gods of heaven. I am a servant of the highest. May the Anunnaki come forth and be established. Then you have Friday, Venus, Ishtar, and Dumuzi. Inanna, Ishtar, Dumuzi, Istari, Venus. Queen, daughter of the moon, who was blessed by the heavens, beloved of Anu, command in heaven. Brightest of the evening, huntress of the night, do come to stand favorably at my side. Grant me the fruits of men and gods. Ishtar and Dumuzi, be favorable to me. I, son of, whose God is, and whose goddess is, cleanse me of impurity and make me a vessel fit to receive your rewards. Open the gates of your understanding to me. May my actions be true. May the words I speak bring me to success. May your light shining in the heavens be a guide to all men you bless favorably. Bless me, a servant of the highest. May the Anunnaki come forth and be established. Saturday, Saturn, Ninurta, and Bow. Ninurta, Ninib, Bow, Adar, Saturn. Mighty firstborn, son of Enlil, great is your place among the gods. Royal prince of Enlil and Ninma, lord and lady of the heavenly abode. Ninib and Bow. It could be Bow. That could be Bow. I don't know. Speak favorably of me in your courts. I, son of, whose God is and whose goddess is, absolve me of my sins, remove my iniquities, make me fit to call upon and receive your blessings. Open the gates of your understanding to me, a servant of the highest. Bo, mighty lady, merciful mother, Ninib, hidden warrior of Enlil, command greatness in my life. Look upon me favorably. May your name be in the mouth of the people. May the Anunnaki return and be established. You have the last day that they have here, and it's Sunday, the sun, Shamash, and Ea. Shamash, Utu, Ea, Samas, sun. Fiery and powerful one, judge among the gods, son of the moon god, overseer of the destinies of the lands. Shamash and Ea, be the favorable judges of my destiny. May the path be prosperous, unequal light of day. Shamash and Ea, shine favorably upon me, son of, whose God is and whose goddess is. Incinerate my iniquities. Make me perfect to behold your light. Lord, who appeals to the ears of Enlil, open the gates of your understanding to me. Permanent is your mighty word on earth. Make your unquestioned command dictate prosperity in my life. I am a servant of the highest. May the Anunnaki return and be established. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of Tablet W. We're moving right along. The next tablet is Tablet X, Book of Crossings and the Elu Stargates. And this is the one that has the sigils for the different gates and Inky and Anu and Samas and Marduk, Sarpanic. We'll get to that tomorrow. Now, let's start. Put it back up. No, don't do that. Done. It just reverts back to the last page. Okay. What? Oh no. Go to the cover. Quit jumping. Okay. All right. What the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. So I'll show you the picture. This is how it looks when you purchase it. Well, actually, when I originally purchased it, because I had to purchase it twice, the hardback, right? So when I purchased it the first time, this cover is the cover that I actually got the first time. So, okay. So let me tell y'all, when I be going through my little scary phases, not too sure if what I've just bought into the house is witchcraft or you know, something that I shouldn't have in the house, I take everything and I throw it away. And this was one of the ones I hadn't actually read this. I just kind of ordered the library, but I came across, remember how I told you sometime, can you see that? Facebook? Okay. sometime you will see Manly P. Hall's name in conjunction with Aleister Crowley's name sometime, right? And not that them two ever work together or anything, but that's what I originally thought at with some of the things that I was looking into, and I kept seeing Manly P. Hall's name pop up, then Aleister Crowley. Right now, the first time I actually heard of Aleister Crowley, I think it was in, I want to say it was years ago, different music that I was listening to, and there would be references to his name, right? Until one day I went and actually looked him up and looked into him a little bit. I'm like, oh shoot, let's stay away from this dude. This dude was wickedness embodied, walking the earth, right? So that's all I knew at the moment. And at that time, I didn't really do any more research than just that little surface research that I did on Aleister Crowley, right? So when his stuff, Manly P. Hall stuff, started popping up, and then I started seeing Aleister Crowley pop up, I just automatically assumed that they were linked together, like they talked about the same stuff before I actually opened up his stuff. But I got the inkling to order Manly P. Hall stuff and look into some of the stuff he was talking about. And I did. And I spent like almost $100 on he has a library of thin little books like this, and I ordered all of them. So it was almost like $100. And it was probably the books together was probably like this in my hand. I ordered all of them. Before I actually started reading, I was doing a little bit more research on him online and got triggered by Aleister Crowley's name and watched this little video that they had put up about Aleister Crowley, and it completely freaked me out. And I took my entire library that I just ordered, spent almost $100 on. I took it, went right outside to the little trash can, put it in there. I'm like, Father, contain all the wickedness in the trash can, y'all. When I tell y'all, I've thrown away so much money. I'm a just, I ain't gonna say thrown away, but yeah, thrown away. Cause my sisters, I'll call Alicia. She said, "Girl, you know you're gonna have to go repurchase that book." Now, some I haven't repurchased, like that one that I never gave y'all the name to. I never repurchased that one. That's the one that I actually watched for the trash trucks to come and make sure that they dumped it right. Okay, I have not repurchased that one. Um, but I've lost a lot of money just throwing books away just by me assuming stuff without actually fully looking into it before I just get all scared and just throw stuff away because I'm afraid if I open it, it's going to release a demon spirit in my house. No, that is not always the case, y'all. Sometimes what I realize, I actually have to look into stuff before I start throwing stuff away. Then I'm pissed after I actually do look into it and I done threw the books away. Now I got to repurchase them again, right? So what I started doing when I purchased the hardback, I also purchased the Kindle and the Audible, right? And if I do get scared for some unfounded reason or something that I don't quite understand at the moment, I'll go throw the hardback away, but even though I'll delete the Kindle or whatever, it'll still let me re-download it without purchasing it again because I've already purchased it. I don't know. I just figured I'd share it with y'all. But anyway, this was one of the ones that actually got thrown away by me and then repurchased again. And then when I actually read, I'm like, Pam, you have got to stop with your foolishness. You have to see things through before you start blaming everything on the devil. And this was one of the ones I was like, I got to read this to y'all. It was so much wisdom in this book. We really have to be careful, especially when we're waking up to the truth and we're doing our due diligence, searching things out. We have to be careful that we're not, that we don't find ourselves doing what I be doing, right? Being led and ran by fear without actually fully seeing the matter out first and checking it through. At least open it up and go through it and verify if this is truly something you should throw away or not, right? Okay. I think any good researcher, you'll lose some money here and there, right? In your own development, in your own growth, as you learn different things. So I'm sure researchers have spent a lot of money on some needless things and some things that are absolutely priceless that they've gotten for pennies on the dollar. And right now, this book to download it on Kindle is $1.99. But the wisdom found in here is absolutely priceless. I know some things that I've mentioned to y'all that I've got for pennies on the dollar. I go back and look at it and they've then jacked the prices up. I'm like, what is really going on? Right? So just like the last book I mentioned to y'all, when I purchased it last year, The 9 Keys of Egypt, it was high then. I paid 100, I think it was like $124, $127. Went back, it's almost $250. Okay. So I'm just saying, in the quest for truth, you spend a little bit of money, but that's nothing compared to the wisdom and the spiritual growth you get in your development. I'd spend it all over again if I had to. Okay, that's enough of me talking. Let me start reading this. Okay, what the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples, right? And you can get this in all forms: Audible, Kindle, and hardback. When you get it in hardback, the cover now it looks a little different, but it's still the same information on the inside. So you just, before you purchase it, just make sure, just kind of read through the description to make sure it's the same one, and then where you're going to purchase it at, click on Kindle, and just to make sure it's this cover right here. All right, if you click on Audible, it's a completely different cover as well. So just, if you go to Kindle, if this cover is showing, you got the right one. Yeah, I put actually in the community, so you probably not on Facebook. In the community section, I'll repost it today again. In the community section on YouTube, go back a week. I think a week. Scroll back a week, possibly two, and you will see this cover because I uploaded this orange cover with the link to it. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's start. The preface. This publication was originally written to protect sincere persons from the confusion of conflicting beliefs, which came to be known as popular metaphysics. This was a conglomerate of European psychology, Asiatic mysticism, and New England psychism. Most of the dialogue was well intended, but the public in general was not qualified to judge the merits or demerits of teachers or their teachings. It was assumed that spiritual education could be communicated in easy lessons. However, it soon became obvious that the situation was out of hand. The only practical solution was to restate the original teachings of those esoteric orders which have descended to us from the ancient world, that enlightenment must be earned by personal dedication to an enlightened code of conduct. We kind of talked about that a little bit, growing and maturing and your character developing. Sometimes things just don't come to you, or even if you do get your hands on some magical things, what you would perceive to be magic, sometimes it'll work directly the opposite because of your own personal character and growth, and you haven't grown it up to a way in a way that you could actually be trusted with such truths, right? And such power. So it actually have the direct opposite effect for some people. In the ancient system of initiation, the truth seeker must pass through a second birth, and those who attained this exalted state were known thereafter as the twice born. Think about what Christianity calls them, born again, right? It's a little bit of, when you start reading it, you're gonna see some things and kind of link it, and then how they take the true teachings and misteach them. Okay. In the ancient system of initiation, the truth seeker must pass through a second birth, and those who attain this exalted state were known thereafter as the twice born. Only one who has been born again can understand the mysteries of heaven. This new birth, however, is not attained by merely joining a sect or a group of people. It must be personally earned through a complete regeneration of character and conduct. It is a mistake to assume that all persons whose actions are mysterious or who claim to be members of secret orders are adepts or initiates in the true meaning of these words. There has been a vast amount of pretension, and only discrimination can protect the truth seeker from imposture. If we can free our minds from the glamour which surrounds the esoteric sciences and attain a solid knowledge of the principles of true philosophy, we will not be long deceived. Legitimate teachers in the field of mystical religions are known by their works and not by their claims. The commercialization, which is currently disfiguring most fields of human endeavor, is undermining the integrity of modern religions. The exploitation of the spiritual emergency in human affairs is contributing to the popular feeling that theological institutions are exploiting the sorrows of our time. Scarcely a day goes by in which we are not asked to pass judgment upon some sect or belief. There is an old saying that it is very hard to cheat an honest man. Many would be joiners are not strictly honorable in their intentions. Some are escapists, seeking to avoid the consequences of their own misconduct. Others seek the keys to prosperity and a dominant personality, while still others are asking for strength to live with character defects which they do not wish to correct. There are also certain persons who long to become members of a spiritual aristocracy. How you say that word? Aristocracy, I think is okay. There are also certain persons who long to become members of a spiritual aristocracy with power to influence the lives of relatives and friends. Such individuals are proclaiming their willingness to be deluded and exploited. In the last few years, there has been a strong emphasis on psychic phenomena. Well qualified exponents are sincerely trying to explore the field of extrasensory perception and to discover, if possible, the latent faculties of the mind and soul. There is greater dependence upon consultation with professional psychics, in some instances, a more or less troubled person today by accepting advice from 6 or 7 psychics at the same time. By degrees, therefore, many lose the power of using their own minds to arrive at personal decisions. The result is a weakening of faculties we are all here to strengthen. It is important to remember that we must each of us become more adequate if we wish our life patterns to be more constructive. There was an old Greek fable to the effect that even the most wealthy man must eat his own food. If he hires another to do his eating, the one he hires will gain the nourishment. We sincerely hope that the accompanying essay will prove useful and helpful. Many thoughtful readers have found it to be a practical guide for those who wish to have a safe journey along the road leading to understanding of life's purpose. And that was the end of the preface by Manly P. Hall. And so now we start in this chapter, a warning to esoterists. Great is the number of present day religious movements, both heterodox and orthodox. Few of them inspire their followers to serve their fellow men along practical and intelligent lines. One by one, the various cults are being involved in materialism and commercialism, among which by necessity they have been established. This is not to be wondered at, for it is difficult to separate our religion from our daily lives. We may call it by many different names, but it still reflects the thoughts and moral character of those who form its organization. Modern attitudes on life are not healthy. An organization built up by unhealthy people cannot be normal. Commercialism has attacked every plane of society. It has entered into all walks of life. Our race is money mad. It is insane on the subject of personal gain. It will give nothing to serve others, but will give everything to gain the knowledge which will make it possible for the mediocre to become a commercial power overnight. The struggle, inseparable from the ethics of competition, is largely responsible for this condition. Graft has appeared in almost every walk of life. Nearly every existing institution is overrun by some mild form of moral dishonesty, and if every walk of life is commercialized and perverted, we cannot expect religion to escape. History records no graft or prostitution equal to the grafts that today masquerade under the names of psychology and new thought. The art of duping the public has evolved from the disreputable buffoonery of the Middle Ages to the polished Pharisaism of the 20th century. As seagulls follow a ship, so this curse has followed in the wake of that great wave of selfishness and moral perversion, which is the product of our commercial age. When correctly understood, and properly used for the service of humanity, psychology, metaphysics, and new thought are highly commendable, and their truths are sorely needed by ignorant humanity today. But what has happened? These names have been used to conceal all forms of mental, moral, spiritual, and physical infamy until everything we know of them today is a prostitution and commercialization of the truths for which they once stood. Their success is based upon the assumption that the people with whom they work with are too ignorant to realize the injury that is being done. We are not attacking the principles underlying these cults and philosophies, nor the true thing for which the names stand. Neither are we attacking those sincere people who seek to assist others to build and unfold their characters. We are attacking perversion of truth and those persons who, shielding their crimes under the cloak of wisdom, deliberately and consciously mislead the public for aggrandizement of self. In the 14th chapter of St. John, 30th verse, Jesus states, "Hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh and hath nothing in me." The ancient wisdom is not of this world, and it belongs to an entirely different sphere. It is not interested in improving the material condition of the individual from which the standpoint of placing him in executive positions or surrounding him with opulence. The ancient wisdom seeks to build the character of man, knowing that if he can be made right with himself, far more is accomplished than when he is made ruler over many men. I'll read that again. That's so good. Tanya 3000 Shalom. The ancient wisdom seeks to build the character of men, knowing that if he can be made right within himself, far more is accomplished than when he is made a ruler over many men. Truth expresses the synthesis of divine wisdom. Truth is the eternal reality of things. Psychology and metaphysics, as taught today, are not true, and the things taught under the guise of truth are no better than those who disseminate them. An intellectual fact is not necessarily a truth. The misapplication of it is a falsehood. If an individual wishes to take a course in business efficiency at the expense of others, if he wishes to attend a night school class in order to learn how to become a moral pickpocket, he is privileged to do so as long as he is willing to accept the karmic consequences. You will remember that when Lucifer decided to rebel against God, the deity allowed him to do so. It is demoralizing to a community for people to believe that God either gives or authorizes classes in slick salesmanship, shrewd bargaining, and mortgage foreclosing, and that he advocates sitting in the silence to get rid of an undesired marriage partner. Modern psychology has made God appear to be as dishonest as the persons who promulgate these doctrines. All this has had a destructive effect on the life and health of the race. Let us consider a few points toward which the ancient wisdom was adamant and modern religion is lax. We can pick them from things going on all around us all the time without going into abstractions. Number one, in all things involving the acquirement of knowledge, ancient wisdom says, first, purify your own life. Ooh, that's good. Right out the gate, whooping your tail. Number one, in all things involving the acquirement of knowledge, the ancient wisdom says, first, purify your own life. This means literally what it says. Until selfishness is removed from the soul of a student, he can never hope to gain any knowledge that will serve him for any purpose more lofty than as a mental stimulant. The modern psychological cults overlook this entirely, failing to emphasize any virtue essential for the human nature outside of endless desires for things not normally attainable. Once men died for truth, but now truth dies at the hands of men. Oh, that's going to be our title for today. Bruh. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to read that again. That's so good. Listen. Okay. The modern psychological cults overlook this entirely, overlook living an actual clean life, like behind the closed doors, clean life. We can see that all in the pulpits. They're out there preaching down the gates of hell and preaching people into heaven, but their lives tell us something totally different when they're caught on Channel 10 News at 5 p.m. Such and such pastor has been cited on the corner of and Fifth and what's another street name? On the street corner of First and Fifth, giving money to a prostitute for sexual favors, right? They're like, wait a minute, pastor? Priest? Yes, baby. No, 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 no. I'm reading from this. Don't try to change my style. What you need? Yes, you can. You gonna ride with us? We want to look at a couple houses this morning. We got appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mom,
yeah.
I can get this tooth out now.
No, they're not gonna take it out. All they did was fill it. Bless you. No, look. So okay. Put some of this on. Quick little. Let's just call it praise report, right? Okay. So we went. Bella. It's my fault. It's my fault. They've been overdoing it with the candy, right? And I hadn't been making them like, okay, when you eat candy, go brush your teeth just to, sometimes it can seem a little tedious after you eat every piece of candy, you go brush your teeth, right? But it had kind of caught up with us and she had a cavity, right? And I didn't realize she had one until she started complaining for a couple of days. Mom, my tooth hurt. I'm like, okay, All right, what'd you do? Did you bite something? Or no, maybe she had one of her toys in the mouth or something. I figured. But after like the third day of complaining, I'm like, girl, come here, let me see. So I look, I'm like, oh my God, you have a cavity. It looked like it was a hole in her tooth, like all the way in the back. Not the very last tooth, but the one next to that. But it was right in the middle of that one and the last one. So it looked like two of them had it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. She said, Mom, it really hurts. So I'm like, okay. So I gave her, I was going to give her some Motrin, but I was like, let me try some of my Kaleido Silver. So I always try to use home remedies first, right? So I got some of that, sprayed it in her mouth a couple, something like 4 squirts back there. And she said it was fine. So I'm like, okay. So I had to make a dentist appointment. I'm like, hey, so they got us in and they took x-rays and they said yeah, there's definitely a hole. It's a cavity, but it's a hole and she's feeling pain, so that means it's probably deep and it's exposing the nerve. So what they did, they gave some antibiotics just to clear up any infection that may be there, and they said we're gonna have to take the tooth out. I'm like, first of all, wait a minute, she's 5. Now I know that sounds horrible coming from me as a parent. Like I literally felt like trash. I'm like, my 5-year-old has a cavity when they saying she need her tooth pulled. So I'm like, and I was so embarrassed when I'm confessing my sins to the brethren, right? I did. I felt like trash. Why does my 5-year-old daughter, why is she having tooth pain, right? I'm like, this is horrible. I gotta stand in there and make sure she's brushing her teeth the right way and flossing. So kind of been on it. So they told us that, okay, Miss Murphy, it's so bad we don't have to pull her tooth. And I'm like, I'm about heartbroken. I'm like, I have not done my job as a parent. I have to pull my 5-year-old child's tooth. So I was like, is there no other way? I was like, is that bad? I'm like, really? She's only 5. I mean, they eat a lot of candy. They're kids, but, does it really have to be pulled? Yeah, we looked at it. It's going to have to come out and we're going to give her a spacer. But don't worry about it. She's only 5. There's another tooth coming in, but we want to go ahead and take it out, especially if the nerve is exposed and she's feeling the pain. And, we just don't want this to linger on and get worse. I'm like, okay. So I told my husband, both of us heartbroken. I'm feeling like trash. I'm like, I'm not doing my job as a parent. This is horrible. So they gave her the prescription for the antibiotics just to take care of any kind of infection that may have been there. And so 2 weeks later, which was, Sunday, which was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. We went, no, it was Thursday. It was the March 31st. I don't know. Girl, I'm reading. Hold on, don't lose my spot. Hold on. So we went back. And before they start, because they was gonna give her like laughing gas and stuff and extract the tube. So, but before they say they do that, they always do. Yes, I already read that already. They always do like a second X-ray before they actually do the surgery and stuff. And so, from the time they told me, I'm like, Father, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I should be doing better as a parent. Making sure I need to go in here and examine her teeth every time she brushes just to make sure she got it good. I was like, but please, this is my fault. Please don't let them take her tiny tooth. Like, seriously, I really felt some kind of way. Like, I was really heartbroken about this. I'm like, Father, let them just had seen wrong what they thought they saw on that X-ray, but don't let them take my baby tooth out of her mouth. She is only 5. I said, this is ridiculous, and this is really my fault. I said, this is really my fault. I said, but please don't let them take her tooth. Just let them, when they see it, when they go back and they do it again, just let them see, oh, it's not as bad as we thought it was. Okay. So that was my prayer, literally, like every day until we showed back up. And even when we got there, in the wake of COVID and the updating of the requirements and stuff, we can no longer go to the back with them. So I was already afraid, okay, you're gonna give a laughing gas. You said you're gonna have to extract her tooth, and I can't be right there like to hold her hand. We gotta sit out here and wait. So I'm sitting there. I had a peace. I ain't had no kind of dreams. I didn't have a dream of me like losing teeth or anything, because when I have those type of dreams, that mean something gonna happen to somebody that I know in like 2 weeks. It's always been that way, with the exception of my dad, my aunt, and my grandma. I was shown those like a year or so before it happened, to give me time to prepare for what was to come, right? So, but anyway, sitting out there, and the whole time they coming back, the same lady, bringing people back. I'm waiting for her to make eye contact with me to let me know everything is okay. And I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat the whole time, sitting out there praying. That's like, Father, I know you hear my prayer. If they absolutely have to take it, just guide the surgeon's hand, make sure they don't do more or less of what they say they're going to need to do. And the whole time. So finally, after about 30 minutes, she was done. They called me back and everything. And so they went through everything they did. And so I'm like, okay, so you still haven't mentioned anything about the extracted tooth. She said, oh, they didn't have to extract the tooth. We went in there when we did. She said, I'm sorry, we couldn't come back out here and tell you. But when they did the x-ray, it wasn't as bad as they originally thought it was. She still has her tooth. We just did a filling. I'm like, so I was absolutely ecstatic about that, y'all. Absolutely ecstatic. Now, I'm not sure if it was just one of them type of things where clearly y'all knew ahead of time, look, girl, they ain't gonna pull a tooth. Maybe it was something for me to keep me on my P's and Q's. Make sure you actually going to check their teeth after they brush it, to make sure they ain't just stood in there and let the water run. Go in there, actually check, examine. I think it was more of me helping me to be more aware of what she's doing when she in the bathroom and she's supposed to be brushing her teeth, right? So I think it was really like a growing lesson for me to pay a little bit more attention. Hold on, fruit snacks are the worst. Oh yeah, she loves the gummy stuff. Dana, Dana said fruit snacks are the worst for kids too. It gets stuck in their teeth. Then it said worse than candy because it's sticky. Yeah, I know that now. And the gummy stuff, like the gummy lifesavers, those are her favorite. Gummy bears, gummy worms, sour gummy worms, all those things, right? So it's like, oh. So now it's like, ain't nobody else get no more candy in this house. Eat fruit. So But yeah, all right, y'all. So that was my little story, and I just kind of got sidetracked because she came in here talking about her too. Okay, so let's go back. All right, and this had nothing to do with today's reading. What we at? 54 minutes. Okay, hold on. Let me read this last sentence again because it's so good. Matter of fact, let me just read number one again. Okay. In all things involving the acquirement of knowledge, ancient wisdom says first, purify your own life. This means literally what it says. Unselfishness is removed from the soul of a student. I'm sorry. Until selfishness is removed from the soul of a student, he can never hope to gain any knowledge that will serve him for any purpose more lofty than as a mental stimulant. The modern psychological cults overlook this entirely, failing to emphasize any virtue essential for the human nature outside of endless desires for things not normally attainable. Once men died for truth, but now truth dies at the hands of men. Number two, the apostles who died for their faith, the Christians who sang in the arena while the lions were turned loose upon them, or who hung coated with tar as living torches in Nero's gardens. These furnish vivid demonstrations of sincerity, humility, honesty, and devotion of the early followers of Christ. The master himself was led up into the mountain by the demons and tempted by a vision of the cities stretched out in the plains below. The ancient initiates were tempted by the things of this world. Buddha, standing beside the crib in which lay his infant son, chose between all things which life held dear and the wandering life of the ascetic. But the great need of humanity filled his soul, and he sacrificed all to his great unselfish love. Again and again, students are tempted by the voice of the world, and only if they are strong, they will gain that wisdom which they seek. The true occultist wants nothing but wisdom. When Solomon raised his hands to God, Jehovah spoke from the heavens, asking him what he would have. And he answered, God, give me the gift of wisdom. Jehovah asked him if there were not other things he desired. But Solomon answered, no, only wisdom. And God told Solomon that because he had asked only for wisdom, that all the other things should be added unto him, and that from this day to the end of the world there would never be another king so rich, so great, or so blessed. These are facts well worthy of consideration in the light of modern psychology. As we listen to the words of the modern exponents of as we listen to the words of the modern exponents of things divine, we see them making converts by offering to the ignorant the very things by which the ancient masters were tempted by the demons of the air. Again and again, the new cult leader promises his disciples the cities of the plains. His credulous followers fall all over each other to study at his feet and learn how, through magnetic personalities or mental gymnastics, they can acquire earthly possessions which he promises to give them. The crime does not lie in desiring the things of this world, for to a certain degree, they are both necessary and good. Man would not be placed in this present environment unless he were expected to study and benefit by his experiences. The great crime lies in claiming these perverted doctrines to be spiritually inspired and representing God's chief desire to be making people financially independent. Number three, compare the initiates of days gone by, fighting a people who could not understand, struggling with idolatry and superstition, and seeking to mold out of these things a truer and nobler concept of life, wandering day after day over the blistering sands like Moses in the wilderness, compared to those masterminds with the self.
Mom,
Yes.
everyone had to come.
No, everybody is not coming.
Elias can come, please.
No.
Where's
No. Elias's mom is coming to pick him up
right now?
in a little while. Okay. Shh. Compare the initiates of days gone by, fighting a people who could not understand, struggling with idolatry and superstition, and seeking to mold out of these things a truer and nobler concept of life, wandering day after day over the blistering sands like Moses in the wilderness. Compare those masterminds with the self termed masterminds of today, and then ask yourself if you should follow them. The human race has never desired that which was best for it, but like a child, it reaches out its hands and cries for the moon. Today, the race does not know what is good for it, and individuals, instead of seeking to unfold their constitutions symmetrically, have gone mad over a system of philosophical hocus pocus which promises something for nothing and exchanges divine wisdom for a modern fee. Number four, without labor, there is no inspiration, and none can do our work for us but ourselves. The ancient wisdom demanded many years of purification and preparation before the adepts were willing to instruct in even the simplest things. Many modern occultists are glibly teaching Pythagorean mathematics and numerology, and if you come every afternoon for a week, you will be greatly amazed at how little you will discover. They wonder why it is that many of the keys of the Pythagorean mysteries have been lost to the world. The answer is simple. Pythagoras never instructed his disciples in any of his philosophical concepts until after they had passed through 5 years of the strictest discipline, among other things, one provision being that during the entire time they were not to speak a word, in order that afterwards they might know how to hold their tongues. How many of us would have made it that long? A day, let alone 5 years? You would have been dumb to the day you died. Let me read that again. Pythagoras never instructed his disciples in any of his philosophical concepts until after they had passed through 5 years of the strictest discipline, among other things, one provision being that during the entire time they were not to speak a word, in order that afterwards they might know how to hold their tongues. We would have much less trouble if our psychologists refrained from speaking for the first 5 years, for most of them are preaching with no more foundation for their eloquence than 2 weeks' study with someone no better informed than themselves. Oh, I know that personally. Going to a psychologist, a shrink, a marriage counselor, right? Let me tell y'all a funny story. Okay, so a few years ago, my husband and I, we decided, oh shucks, I don't even think we had Isaiah yet. Isaiah is 7. Yeah, I think the last child that we had at that time was Josiah, and Josiah is 9. He's 9 now, so maybe about 9 years ago, he was a baby, right? So we was like, we had our wits in with one another. This is it. We need to go get some counseling, right? And by that time, I don't know how many years was married. Sia's now we've been married 20 years now. This September to be 21. So I don't know. I ain't gonna do the math, but anyway, we didn't have all the kids we got now. We didn't have like the last two, Isaiah and Bella. So we went to go see this counselor, right? So mind you, this was the first time that we actually decided to seek out a marriage counselor, because all the other counseling we would get, we would just allow it to come through us through church, talking to the pastor and stuff. But at that time, we was still kind of going to church, but not all the time, right? And it was like, we don't really want these people up in our business. We don't want to. Yes.
It's just me and you, or just Dad?
Me, you, and Dad. And so we was like, we don't really want them in our business for real. We don't want them looking at us like we crazy and stuff, right? Not that we were doing anything like wow, like some couples be doing. We just couldn't find a common ground. It's like, I'm just not gonna talk, period, right? You like to talk, I don't like to talk, although it don't look like I don't really like to talk, but I'm really a quiet, reserved person, right? If you knew me, this is the most talking I do every day. Well, yeah, I'm talking to the kids. Probably this is when I'm here. This is probably the most talking that I do at one time during the day, right? Okay, so Bella, put it back. So we went to go see this marriage counselor, right? And so my husband was like, "You pick the counselor, and we'll go." So anyway,
what are you talking about?
we.
Don't tell people no lies.
I just started telling the story. I'm talking about this counselor. We went to go see that actually fell asleep on us in there. No, he did. Remember the older white guy? He had glasses.
No. I asked him.
Dude was dozing.
No, I asked him, has he been married before? That one, he
right. That's what I'm getting to that. Yeah, and we found out. No, when I was talking, you know how you sitting there talking to somebody, and you know they close their eyes for a quick little second, and you can say, okay, we need about to be wrapping up. I seen him do that a couple times, and then my husband asked him. He asked him, "Had you ever been married before?" And he said, "Yeah," but he was on his second marriage. And his first marriage, how long did he say his first marriage last?
It wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long. Yeah, so we had already been married longer. Then he was married to his first wife, and now he was in his second marriage, and still we had more time on that one. And then we sat there and realized by the end of the counseling session that, you know what, we wasted our money here. How he gonna tell us about trying to stay together when he done been divorced?
The main thing is this is the whole big picture, all right? And anything, y'all, any marriage, man, you can work it out. It's just if two people are willing to listen.
Exactly.
You're not always right. You don't need a counselor. Don't waste your money. Listen. That's the whole big picture. Listen.
Right. So that's
all they doing. They listening. Sheesh. I mean, that's all they. Don't waste your money, please, people. Please.
Okay. But sometimes if you guys can't find like a common ground, you don't necessarily have to spend, like I was saying before, we weren't doing it at first. We were just going to talk to the pastor. But if you can't, what are you doing? 9:30.
You got 45 minutes. You gotta go get ready. She gotta get ready.
No, I'm ready. She slip on her. Okay, y'all. Okay. Let me finish this little paragraph right here. Okay, so the whole point, learn how to work together, right? Sometimes you may need a third party.
We just argued our butts off last night.
No, you was arguing. No, I was listening.
No, you wasn't.
This is not the time and place for that. This is not the time and place for that. Because it's really foolish. It really is. He was arguing. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Okay, wait, look. Look. There you go. The day started off good. Don't start, Mr. Murphy. See, sometimes you get 20 years in, you didn't know what to argue about. Like, I think he just be picking fights with me. Look, this is not a counseling session. I was just bringing in a little story. It ain't had nothing to do with today's reading, right? Go ahead. That's why we're trying to get to the next level of wisdom. We can't seem to get.
Who's trying to get to the next one? Tell me who's trying to get there.
I am.
Oh, okay.
This is why, look, I'm trying to get to the next level of wisdom. My husband is like my sandpaper, right? Oh, you think you're doing nice and good? We're going to bring your husband to just ask you a question about something. What?
I mean,
Mr. Murphy.
Okay.
Okay.
Say, Mr.
Saying, Murphy, don't
not,
start.
You know better than that.
What is not?
It's principles, and it's certain things are supposed to be allocated. It's supposed to be. Now, if you don't meet, and I bring that up to you, you can't say I'm picking on you. Out of all the people in the world, I choose you. Are you serious?
That is not what I said.
Come on now, you know better than that.
That is not what I said.
What I'm saying is,
Mr. Murphy,
if we're having a discussion and something, if an elephant is in the room, I'm just saying anybody and everybody's supposed to know this. If an elephant is in the room, you talk about the elephant. Don't walk around the elephant. Come on,
right?
Man.
I get that.
No, you can't get that if you walk around the elephant.
Listen,
okay.
The whole point of everything.
All right, now go ahead.
Let me finish this.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say because you still don't get it.
Listen, hold on, y'all. See, because they don't even know the whole story. So
we about to get into it.
No, we're not even gonna get into it because it's foolish. Okay. I think it's foolish.
We can head out real quick.
Look, let me finish this. I'm gonna finish this little paragraph.
I keep my guns cocked and loaded. Trust me.
We'll revisit this at another day when it's appropriate to talk about this. When we got time to really get into it. Right? Okay.
And don't let it be one-sided. If you're gonna talk both sides. Don't just listen to one side.
Look, that's what I'm
ahead.
saying. When we got the time, when we can sit and talk about both sides.
Right on.
Right. Okay. Right. Be fair.
All right.
Be fair. Tell Bella to get her boots on. Shoot.
Tell who get what? Go get your boots on so you can be ready. So you ain't got to get ready. Get
I'm already ready. I just got to slip my shoes on.
Okay.
And Tara on her way to do her hair. So Bella gonna go last.
No, yeah. But she going with us though.
Yeah, she going with us. Okay. We'll bring this topic back up at a later date. It's gonna be our red table talk.
No, it might be black. Might be black table talk because we black. Never mind.
Okay, look. Okay.
Socks and shoes on.
Sometimes you just have these arguments between yourselves. Is All right. Hold on. You made me lose my spot.
It's still love.
It is still love. I love you, babe.
But you gotta get man. You gotta get things straight before you can go forward. You gotta get it straight. Get on one mind frame.
I agree with that.
If not, guess
but you
what?
Can't make
You're gonna
me
continuously walk in circles.
You can't make me agree with you on something that I don't agree with. That's the whole point of everything.
Well, go back to the reason why people don't agree with something. It's something that happened. The reason why they don't feel the way that they feel. Now, I understand you don't. I understand it's not for everybody, and it's not all the time. I understand if that's your mental, but it's the reason why you think that way. I always want to get to the root cause of the reason why. Then we can go forward. But just sitting up here dancing in circles and waltzing for how long again?
I was not dancing. I was not waltzing.
All right, man.
I told you exactly why.
Jigging?
You can call it the WAP. You can call it the Cabbage Patch, but it was none of it. Right. I was standing still telling you exactly why I don't agree with what you said. Okay. And then it's like all hell broke loose because I didn't agree with you. I said, well, on this point, we need to agreeably disagree. At this juncture in life, we need to agreeably disagree. And you just don't believe that we should disagree on anything. And that would be the perfect life, right? Right. That would be the perfect life if we agreed on everything. But if we agreed on everything, if we off somewhere and we both looking foolish, then who is there to tell the other one, look, y'all look a little bit crazy right now.
Use that as an example.
It's a perfect example.
No, you can't use that example if we both. You can still agree. Nothing is wrong with agreeing. Mm-hmm. It don't mean that you're weak either. I think sometimes you want to stay on your one too because you feel if I agree or I let my guard down, he gonna look at me like I'm weak. That's the most childish thing to me.
How is that?
That's the most
childish thing. On a particular thing last night.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Go back to the basis.
What's the basis?
If I agree with him, that will make me feel as if I'm weak.
No, because I agree with you on a whole lot of stuff. And I hold my tongue on a whole lot of stuff.
Though. See, that's what I'm saying. You
call it an elephant. I didn't think it was a problem.
Because you walk around the elephant every day, Jack. What you mean? You don't see it, Jack. Like, you're supposed to think that way. What you talking about?
So.
But that's not right, though.
Okay.
That's not right. Once again, you can't sit up here and say in one situation, I walk around the elephant. But you're wrong, though.
I'm not saying walking. I'm not saying
anything. Just listen, because I'm talking about this elephant. Maybe you don't see from the eyes that I'm looking through. Mm-hmm. You might not. If you don't listen and understand, then you will never know what I'm thinking or how I look at things. Because the only way that you're looking at things is the way that you see it. That's it.
I get that. I really do.
You don't anybody else saying it. I mean.
Okay, so some things.
Again?
Look, some things. It's not always an agreement. It's understanding, right, Dana? So some things we have views on to where he thinks is a big problem, but me, I tend to overlook a lot of stuff. Not that I'm ignoring the elephant in the room, because shoot, it's a wild animal in our house, an elephant that shouldn't be here. But the subject that we're talking about, he thinks is a big problem, and I can see how he could think it is. But when I tell him my opinion of it, it's like, I don't feel that way.
Listen, look it down to the point. Ain't nobody trying to control nothing. The point is, you can't look at being in a marriage and control.
Right.
That's your mental mind state.
But did you not say, in my own defense, did you not say, I'm a very controlling individual? Did you not say it out your own mouth?
Understand?
And so I was just breaking something down.
Let me say something. If me being in control.
Hold
on, wait.
Okay.
If me being in control has made things. Let me be honest for a second.
Okay.
Has made things
That's
a
probably
little
in
bit
our
better
video,
for
y'all.
you and in your life. Don't get mad at controlling.
Wait, say that again.
If me being in control have made things better in your life, better. Let me be honest for a second.
Okay.
Better. I'm not saying that controlling is a part of hurt. I don't hurt you now. Let's call that what it is.
Okay.
Controlling don't always have to hurt.
Right.
Controlling can be better, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I'm leading, I just don't want to be sitting like a sitting duck. So I lead and I control.
Right, I get what you're saying. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I wasn't disagreeing with that.
I understand some people could say, hey, leading and controlling is two different things. Okay, I understand that place too. But what I'm saying is, don't look at me like I'm wrong because I call out who I am. Instead of, you might want, just be quiet, don't say nothing.
No.
Walk past me, touch my booty, don't say nothing. What you mean? I'm a person, I'm very vocal. I tell you, hey, I'm a straight shooter. This is how I'm shooting. If you can't understand that, then
right.
Come on, man.
I was not disagreeing with you. Okay, so it's hard to talk about this in front of a live studio audience without actually giving the details of what we was disagreeing about. Yeah, so
dancing around last night.
Okay, we'll finish this conversation. Okay.
Don't change now.
Sorry, y'all. Look, it's hard to kind of talk about this without actually giving you the exact thing we was talking about because we didn't know who was gonna be airing this whole little situation gonna be going on in the kitchen.
Come down and bust up in this.
Okay. Up, all right. So look, this
anyway.
We passed our time. Yes, we passed our time today. But I'm gonna reread this last sentence, this last number on the reason why I even got into this. I was talking about the counselor, and I was just pretty much gonna say, make sure you qualify whom you talk to, especially if you have problems or marriage issues. You can't talk to. Yeah, I agree. Don't waste your money for people who have less experience or can't even relate. Like if you're trying not to get divorced and you go see a counselor that's been divorced like 5 times, like what kind of help can he give you? He's like in the wrong field. He should be like a divorce lawyer or something. Right?
So that's a mindset though.
Right.
If you don't want to be,
right,
that's a good place. You can work from anything.
Yeah.
If your mindset is that you do not, you get what I'm saying? You can work on things. Things can be better. If you get what I'm saying,
yeah.
And that's the thing with people. It's a whole lot of different directions you can go with that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let me read this. Look, okay. Jen said, "Bam, I agree. Touch his booty going forward." Look, okay. All right, let me reread this last thing we do because we got to go look at the property, y'all. Okay, okay. Listen, I'm gonna just read this again.
Hey, it ain't the booty.
Listen, Pythagoras never instructed his disciples in any of his philosophical concepts until after they had passed through 5 years of the strictest discipline. Among other things, one provision being that during the entire time they were not to speak a word in order that afterwards they might know how to hold their tongues. We would have much less trouble if our psychologists refrained from speaking for the first 5 years, for most of them are preaching with no more foundation for their eloquence than the 2-week study with someone no better informed than themselves. And that, my beautiful people, is where we're in today. And that's what we got off into the story about the council. And that's when my husband came down and decided to join the conversation. All right, y'all. So we're going to pause right here. We'll pick this back up. Yes, baby.
You're already done.
Yes, I'm done. All right, y'all. So thank y'all for hanging out today. We'll be back here tomorrow, bright and early. 7. Don't mess with that. I gotta say my page. 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also Sabbaths, according to the new moon cycle, now switch to Saturdays. So Saturdays, right? We'll be doing what most of the rest of the world, and we'll be celebrating, observing the Sabbath. If that's what you choose to do. All right. So with that being said, I love y'all, Father. Thank you for wisdom daily and teaching us how to apply what we learned to our life. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, go ahead, Tootie. She can go ahead and end it today. All right, hit finish.
Right.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi.
All right, y'all. See y'all later. All right. Uh-oh. Go ahead. You knock this one off. You gotta end this. Oh, wait. No. Oh, that's gonna delete that video. Let's see. Right here. YouTube is still up. All right, YouTube. Go ahead.
And subscribe and watch my mom video.
In stream. All right, y'all. All right, hop that poop.